Red Bull Racing, how Formula One's boldest team was born. You ever get the feeling that some teams were just meant to shake things up? That's Red Bull Racing. But this isn't just a story about fast cars and flashy sponsorships. No. This is a story born from tragedy, rebellion, and the kind of wild ambition that turns outsiders into champions. Let's rewind. Back to Austria, late 1960s. At the center of Austria's growing motorsport obsession was one man, Jochen Rindt. He wasn't just fast, he was electric. A fearless talent with a rebellious streak, Rindt brought something raw to Formula One. The kind of driver who didn't just race to win, he raced like his life depended on it. And in 1970 it did. Rindt was on fire that season, winning 5 of the first 9 races and pulling ahead in the championship standings. But at Monza, everything changed. During practice for the Italian Grand Prix, his Lotus suffered a brake shaft failure. He crashed. And just like that, Rindt was gone. But here's the haunting part. His lead was so strong, no one could catch him. That year, Jochen Rindt became the sport's only posthumous world champion. His death wasn't the end of a story, it was the start of a legacy. In Austria, something changed. A whole generation suddenly saw Formula One not as a distant sport, but as a dream worth chasing. And among that generation were 2 names you need to remember, Dietrich Mateschitz and Helmut Marko. Let's start with Mateschitz. Born in Austria in 1944, Mateschitz was a marketer by trade, a thinker, a risk-taker. In 1984, while on a trip to Hong Kong, he discovered a strange local energy drink, Krating Dang. Most people would have moved on, but not Dietrich. He partnered with Thai businessman Chaleo Uvidia, tweaked the formula for Western taste, and launched Red Bull. From the beginning, Mateschitz knew what Red Bull needed: adrenaline, speed, and identity. He didn't just want to sell a drink, he wanted to sell a lifestyle. So he turned to motorsport. His first move? Formula One. In 1985, at the Austrian Grand Prix, he approached fellow Austrian driver Gerhard Berger with an offer, $10,000 to wear the Red Bull logo. Not a lot of money, even then, but it was Red Bull's first step into the F1 world. A small gesture that would snowball into something massive. Now, Helmut Marko. His story runs parallel, but with a different kind of fire. Marko was a childhood friend of Jochen Rindt. They grew up together in Bad Aussie, both dreaming of Formula One glory. Marko was smart, earned a PhD in law, but the racetrack kept calling. In the early 70s, he made it to F1, even winning the legendary 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1971. Then came tragedy. At the 1972 French Grand Prix, a flying stone shattered Marko's visor. It blinded him in one eye and ended his racing career. But if you think that stopped him, you don't know Helmut Marko. He pivoted, became a driver manager, and later formed his own racing team, RSM Marko. One of the early drivers he mentored, Gerhard Berger. By the mid-1990s, Marko and Mateschitz had joined forces. The dream was simple: shape the future of Formula One, not just with money, but with talent. They started small. Red Bull became a sponsor of the Sauber F1 team, slapping that now iconic logo onto the cars. The partnership ran strong, until a disagreement changed everything. In 2001, Mateschitz wanted his chosen driver, Enrique Bernoldi, in the Sauber seat. Team boss Peter Sauber said no, and picked a young Finnish rookie named Kimi Räikkönen instead. That rejection taught Mateschitz a hard truth: influence isn't ownership. If he truly wanted to shape F1's future, he had to own a team. The perfect opportunity came in 2004. Ford, fed up with the underwhelming results of their Jaguar Racing project, wanted out. The team was losing money, underperforming, and dragging down their brand. So they listed the entire outfit for just $1. That's right, $1. The catch? The buyer had to commit to covering future operational costs. With just 24 hours left on the deal, Mateschitz and Marko made their move. Red Bull Racing was born. The bones of the team were already in place. The factory sat in Milton Keynes, England, a facility that once housed Stewart Grand Prix and later Jaguar Racing. Over 300 jobs hung in the balance. But to Mateschitz, this wasn't just a rescue, it was a mission. They needed a leader, someone bold, someone hungry. Enter Christian Horner. Horner was only 31 years old, but already a seasoned team owner in Formula 3000 with Arden International. He'd once gone to Austria just to buy a trailer for Marko's team. That deal sparked a relationship and a belief. In Horner, Marko saw energy, ambition, Red Bull spirit. So against all odds, Horner became the youngest team principal in Formula One. No safety net, no buffer. As Horner would later recall, "They gave me the keys and said, 'Get on with it,' and he did." In 2000, expectations were low, but the results, immediate. Points finishes, excitement, buzz, and a message to the paddock: this wasn't a gimmick. Red Bull was here to stay. Red Bull didn't just want to compete in Formula One, they wanted to redefine it. Their first few years? Electric, fun, unpredictable. From Christian Horner diving into a Monaco pool wearing nothing but a red cape, to the team bringing energy, style, and swagger to a paddock that had long been dominated by suits and legacy teams, it was clear this wasn't business as usual. But behind the showmanship was something more serious, a plan. At the heart of it was Red Bull's junior team. Helmut Marko had quietly transformed the program into a full-fledged talent factory. It was more than a pipeline, it was a proving ground. Drivers either rose fast or got cut even faster. This wasn't charity, it was competition. In 2008, Red Bull's biggest junior team gamble paid off, big time. Sebastian Vettel, a German prodigy who had joined the program at just 13, stunned the racing world by winning the Italian Grand Prix at Monza with Toro Rosso in the wet from pole. In a midfield car, he was the youngest driver to ever win a race in Formula One history. And he didn't just win, he dominated. Everyone knew what was coming next. In 2009, Vettel was promoted to Red Bull's senior team, now paired with a car designed by the Adrian Newey. Now let's talk about Newey. He's not just an engineer, he's an artist. A genius with a pencil and a drawing board in an era of computer simulations. Red Bull brought him in late 2005, and he slowly began reshaping the team from the inside out. His masterpiece arrived in 2009, the RB5, a sleek, aggressive car built for the new aerodynamic regulations. And that year, Red Bull made a statement. At the Chinese Grand Prix, Vettel led teammate Mark Webber to a dominant 1-2 finish. Red Bull had arrived, not as rebels, but as contenders. But 2010, that's when the dream became destiny. That season was chaos. 4 drivers from 3 teams battled for the championship all year. And going into the final race in Abu Dhabi, Vettel was the outsider. He left as champion. In just 6 years, Red Bull Racing had gone from energy drink upstarts to Formula One world champions. Vettel became the youngest world champion in F1 history. And Red Bull? They took the Constructors' Championship too. It was the perfect storm. A fearless driver, a visionary designer, a ruthless driver program, and a team culture that celebrated risk and rejected tradition. What followed was nothing short of domination. From 2010 to 2013, Red Bull Racing crushed the competition. Vettel won 4 consecutive Drivers' Championships. Red Bull took 4 Constructors' titles. Races weren't just won, they were owned. The team had turned Formula One into their playground. But nothing lasts forever. In 2014, Formula One entered a new era, V6 turbo hybrid engines. Red Bull, still partnered with Renault, struggled to adapt. Mercedes, with their hybrid power unit, took over the grid, and just like that, the dynasty paused. Vettel left for Ferrari. Results dipped. Critics called it the end of the Red Bull story. But remember, Red Bull always played the long game. Behind the scenes, the junior team kept grinding, and in 2016, their next lightning strike hit Max Verstappen. Max wasn't just another talented kid, he was something else entirely. Signed by Red Bull as a teenager and thrown into Formula One at just 17 years old, Verstappen skipped the traditional ladder. Most drivers spent years in feeder series. Max jumped straight to the big leagues. The F1 world scoffed. Too young, they said. Then came Spain, 2016. On his Red Bull Racing debut, Verstappen held off Kimi Raikkonen, lap after lap, and became the youngest race winner in F1 history at 18 years old. Red Bull had done it again, but they wanted more than moments. They wanted titles. And to win championships in this new era, they needed more control. So when Honda announced they were leaving Formula One after 2021, Red Bull made a move that shocked the grid. They built their own engine division, Red Bull Powertrains. From a $10,000 sponsorship deal in the 80s to now designing and producing their own engines. This was Mateschitz's full circle moment. That same year, 2021, everything changed. In one of the most dramatic seasons in F1 history, Verstappen battled Lewis Hamilton to the final lap of the final race. The championship came down to a controversial safety car decision in Abu Dhabi, but when the dust settled, it was Verstappen who crossed the line first. Red Bull were champions again. In 2022, they did it again, this time with dominance. Max won 15 of 22 races. Red Bull took the Constructors' title with ease. But something else happened in 2022 too. Something painful. Dietrich passed away. His vision, his money, his rebellious spirit, that's what built this team. And yet, even in his absence, the empire he built kept flying. By 2025, Red Bull had won over 70 Grands Prix, produced 2 world champions, and built one of the strongest dynasties the sport has ever seen. At the center of it all, Christian Horner, still the team principal, now the longest serving in the paddock Helmut Marko, still overseeing the driver program with the same sharp eye Max Verstappen, the relentless force, carrying the Red Bull legacy into the next generation, and above them, always, the spirit of Jochen Rindt, the inspiration, the rebel, the racer. This isn't just a team, it's a movement, a dynasty born from tragedy, built on ambition and powered by the kind of belief that turns the impossible into destiny. Red Bull Racing, a team that didn't just join Formula One, they changed it forever. If this journey through Red Bull Racing's wild origins and unstoppable rise inspired you, hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget to tap the bell icon so you never miss a race day story again. Got a favorite Red Bull moment? Drop it in the comments. Let's celebrate the rebels who rewrote the rules.